Meanwhile, mainstream media are campaigning against fake news sweeping across the internet. Yet it seems few are questioning the sources the very same media outlets get their news from. In the Now host, Anissa Nawe investigates.
There's a crusade against fake news.
Fake news has become increasingly, maddeningly, disturbingly popular, especially on Facebook.
The Pope endorsing Trump? Fake. Megyn Kelly fired for backing Hillary Clinton? Fake. Clinton linked to crimes committed by Anthony Weiner? Also fake. Some of these pro-Trump websites in particular actually come from kids, from teenagers living in Macedonia.
So you're saying that a bunch of Macedonian kids screwed millions of Americans over and got Trump elected? A bunch of Macedonian kids versus the enormous mainstream media machine, those 6 giants that control 90% of American media, which almost 100% were behind Hillary Clinton.
Hillary hit him on everything.
She clearly managed to get under his skin.
I think is the best speech yet.
Trump is headed for a historic defeat.
Could he actually win?
No freaking way!
Oh no, you don't make up news intentionally. CNN didn't interview their super Hillary fan cameraman intentionally, and Fox's fake former CIA operative was just an honest mistake, fine. But misleading, misinforming, pulling out of context and propagating war, that's your intention for sure. Remember WMDs?
We should have been more skeptical.
Yes, you should have been, but lessons aren't learned. Yugoslavia, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, ISIS, terrorists, or what do you call them? Moderate rebels? What you do is way more dangerous. Your real news starts wars, kills and displaces millions, and destroys entire regions. So fake news. Most can see that coming. It's the real news that needs a check.
So it seems President-elect Donald Trump faces yet another challenge in the form of the U.S. mainstream media. RT's Ilya Petrenko sums up the uneasy relationship between America's incoming leader and how it's going with the news outlets.
Who loathed biased media more, presidential candidate Donald or President-elect Donald? But watch out, because this guy bites back. When almost all of them were backing this lady, he either had to swallow it or put up a fight.
I do hate them, and some of them are such lying, disgusting people.
Most of it, 70%, 75%, is absolute dishonest, absolute scum. Remember that, scum.
You keep calling us the dishonest press, the disgusting press.
I find the political press to be unbelievably dishonest.
But he won, so isn't it time for a post-election thaw? We're not feeling that just yet. I'm going to show you a couple of tweets from Mr. Trump before he met one of the most respected American papers, the New York Times. Here, he calls it the failing New York Times and cancels the meeting. They changed the terms and conditions at the last moment. Not nice. An hour later, perhaps a new meeting will be set up with the NY Times. In the meantime, they continue to cover me inaccurately and with a nasty tone. That's just as the paper ran this story. Donald Trump's business dealings test a constitutional limit. And here's some captions I saw on CNN while putting this piece together. Now, by the way, the day before Donald Trump got together with the big TV network execs and top anchors. What exactly happened there, who knows? But what we do know is that the CNN was there, and according to an unnamed source cited by the New York Post, they got a massive telling off by the president-elect.
Trump started with CNN chief Jeff Zucker and said, "I hate your network. Everyone at CNN is a liar, and you should be ashamed." The meeting was a total disaster. They got a Trump-style dressing down.
Well, what else did they expect after stuff like that?
This guy is a complete clown.
Rodeo clown.
A dangerous clown.
An irredeemable pervert.
Can Donald Trump be stopped?
So, where are we now? Remember Donald Trump saying, "Forget the press, read the internet." Will the real Donald Trump Twitter account now become the #1 source for White House news? He's already all over Twitter, updating us on his administration appointments and then some. It makes you wonder how Trump's going to work with the White House press pool. especially if the lines are blurring between correspondents and campaigners.
Most of the media establishment is very unhappy that their preferred candidate and their narrative didn't succeed. And so they gave up their pretense of objectivity. Now, even the New York Times even ran a front page declaring to their readers that they were going to do everything they could in order to stop Trump from being elected president. Is that activism? In my view, the New York Times thing is absolutely a form of activism. CNN visibly showed contempt for Trump during the debate. Is that a form of activism? It certainly can be interpreted that way. A journalist should stand aside and let his or her subjects reveal themselves rather than tell the readers what they should think.
Any more cases of journalists turned activists? Take this letter from the UK's Times. Dear IOC, please ban the whole of Team Russia from Rio 2016. Or this piece from Germany's Bild. There are good bombs and bad bombs. Just think Mosul and Aleppo here. How about when the BBC was covering the Scottish referendum? An Anglified perspective was the verdict from an audience panel. So opinions over facts. Is this really now the way to go? In Moscow, I'm Ilya Petrenko.
Media analyst Lionel believes Donald Trump sidesteps the media by going online to be more accessible to the American public.
He goes on YouTube? I mean, this guy took Twitter. What, Periscope next? And he realized, I'm going to be more accessible to the American public, to the voter, more than anyone. He's rewriting everything. And there's one thing that every American in this country, which kind of makes sense, agrees to, and that is how decrepit, how rancid, how vile and putrescent and biased mainstream media are. The same people who talk about RT as being propaganda.